So today's question is um, how are the events unfolding regarding the virus? The vaccination. So this is the first card that I took out, the sun. Okay, so what's happening now is indicated by the sun. There is going to be some kind of a revelation. Okay, some kind of a revelation that cannot be avoided. It's as if the sun is shining. It's as if the sun is shining and is going to take everyone breath away. Okay, people are going to notice the sun is going to be that uh, extreme. Okay, the truth is going to burst out like the sun, and people won't be able to stop it. So now why I said that is because in relation to these three cards, so you have the judgment and you have justice. So there will be judgment, and from there, and it's going to come really quick, and it's going to come really loud. And then after that, justice will be served. And it's going to be sweet justice. Justice in the sense that if you look at her, she's smiling. So for those who do wrong, well, it seems that they have kind of like sold their souls, and she is going to kind of like take back. Okay, it's time for payback time. And for those who dabble in this kind of negative forces, well, then they will have to pay back. She is waiting here. She will make sure that the justice is done. Okay, so basically that is the whole general theme. Now I took out some cards and I'm thinking of how would this justice, this card here, this justice be dealt with? And these are the three cards that I took out. Okay, so basically you have current king now, and he is wanting to kind of like cause harm to the animals in the forest. So the animals in the forest here is represented by the Ten of Cups. It's good families or whole families. And he is stalking upon them. He wants to somehow annihilate them. Okay, so they're just minding their own business. But here, as you can see, he's got an evil look on his face, as if he is ready to stab into them. However, unknown to him, there is this energy which has started. He doesn't know this. His back is facing the magician. The magician is starting his work already. The work has started to bring justice upon him. Okay, so then after that, okay, so the question is what's going to happen next? So this is the cards that I pulled out. Okay, so basically you have two opposing kings here. You have the King of Swords, who wants to do harm to the people. And then you have the King of Cups, who's very wary of what he's doing. He's very wary. But once again, due to the magician, energy is starting to move already. And I was asking the question, how about the vaccination? How will we be affected? According to the King of Cups here, you have this king who is actually taking care of these people. He's moving them into safer grounds, kind of like. And here is protected by the swords. Okay, so it's the people here who is moving to safer grounds. He is making sure of that. Okay, and then this king is not getting any support because there are some people who still do not support him. They prefer not to see where the information, the clarity is all there, but they decide not to see. Perhaps they have some kind of a fear. Okay, so basically the story goes that the king, okay, there is energy which is already starting to move without this evil king's knowledge. Okay, so there seems to be a battle between the evil king and the king who takes care of the people. Okay, and this king, he is wanting to stab into this family or whatever. But the thing is, they are facing him, so they know that it's coming. He thinks he's very powerful, but he doesn't know that there is this, the energy has started to move. He doesn't realize this. He thinks he is all powerful. So even with the deers facing him, he is confident that he can kill them. And maybe they may be killed, but the thing is, this won't last for long. Okay, so the majority of the people, this king here, he is making sure that they are being moved to safer grounds. Okay, and he will stay back to fight the battle here. Okay, so this king here, he is moving the people to safer grounds. He is making sure that they are protected. And then there are some people who just don't want to see, don't want to wake up. He realizes this, but he cannot do anything to them. He cannot help them. So the only thing that he can do is basically to just focus on these people. Okay, then after that, I pulled out some cards. What's going to happen after that? So this is what's going to happen. Okay, so you have the Queen of Pentacles here. So she's going to come in and help support this king. Basically here, she is going to dish out the whatever that means the final stage of the battle is going to be manifested on earth by this queen. She is calm, she is wise, she knows what her duties are, and she will not turn her back on him. Okay, so she knows what she needs to do. Okay, and then finally, this is basically the last stage of the fight here. So this can mean two things. So it's basically at the end of the day, he can just be, this king here may want to, cause harm to the animals in the forest, meaning to the public. But the thing is, he is only an individual. The main enemy is the people who are sleeping, who refuse to see. So even though this king, he has to fight here, and as well as he can't do anything about these people. So basically, this king has to contend with this evil king, and he has to contend with the people who just don't want to see. So eventually, the people who don't want to see, because of the queen, she is going to show what is going to happen. So basically, she holds the last stage in the battle between these two kings. So eventually they will wake up. And when they wake up, they cannot face the truth, or the truth is there for them. They finally see, and it turns their hair white. They did not realize that it was this bad. The truth is very difficult to stomach. And finally, all the swords are stabbed in. It seems like this is the final stage, and that a new cycle will begin. A new cycle will begin. So basically, those people who are sleeping, they cannot take it. And when they do take it, they can see the horrors that have been inflicted by this king. They see the horrors. And then after that, the final sword is stabbed. And that means first there is denial. And then after that, there is not denial, but there is not wanting to see. And then after that, after seeing, they still cannot believe it to be true, but they cannot. So there is some kind of a denial. eventually they have to accept the truth, and it causes them to cry because it's very difficult to take the truth that several things they have been not wanting to see, and the truth is really painful. So once again, this king here, he comes in, so he has to contend with kind of like two enemies, the evil king and as well as people who are sleeping. So he has to contend with these two. So in terms of there will be some sacrifices made, this king who, is eyeing these the animals. Okay, so the animals are not doing any harm, but it seems that they are facing him, so they know what to expect. They realize that they have no choice. They will have to take his blow. Okay, so some. But in the meantime, this king here who loves the people, he is moving as many as people so that they are not harmed. So here I'm getting the idea that there will be some people who kind of like go for the vaccination. This is in terms of the vaccination, and they have no choice. But for the majority here, the king is trying to move them to safety, this king. Okay? So once again, this king, he doesn't know that the forces are already moving. The forces are already moving, but he is still arrogant, overconfident. So here, these people, they can see, okay, that, or perhaps they also kind of like trust him, but they don't know that he is going to stab them. But this king is very wise. He knows what's going to happen. Okay, but at the same time, he has to contend with this evil king, and as well as the sleeping public, or the public who cover their eyes, who don't want to see. Eventually, they do see, and the truth is very difficult to take. Okay, and then after that, so there is some kind of a denial here, and it keeps them up awake, but there is still some sense of denial. But eventually, they just come to accept the fact that this has been happening, the harm that has been inflicted by this evil king. And then after that, they realize and they accept, and this is when they cry. So the thing about this king is he has to face the evil king, and he has to face the public who do not want to see. So these two are his greatest enemies, or obstacles. Eventually, nothing can stop his plan, and people are focusing on him to see what his plans are, but he has backup. So people are expecting him to make a move, but the thing is, the pentacle is given to the queen. So she is the one who is supporting him. It's like the king and the queen. So the queen will always support the king, and she has been given the pentacle. She will manifest whatever that needs to be done on earth. Okay, so once again, this is kind of like, this is their strategy. People are expecting him to make some kind of a move, or this evil king is expecting the move from him, but they don't realize that the ball has been passed to the queen, and that she will unleash whatever that needs to be unleashed, perhaps information regarding this evil king. Okay, so basically, in terms of the vaccination, um, well, this is more of kind of like uncovering of the knowledge, where the knowledge is just going to come bursting out. Okay, and then after that, judgment is going to be made, and justice is going to be served. So here, it looks like, it's not, justice is justice. If you take from the evil, then the evil will want to take back from you one way or the other. So here you have the evil king, and he wants to cause harm to the people. Okay, Yeah, so basically here there will be some who sacrifice themselves in the sense that they will take perhaps the vaccination. However, the king realizes this and he is protecting the majority of the people. There are some people who don't want to face the truth, and eventually they do, but there is some kind of denial, and in the end they do accept the truth, and it causes them great sadness. So the other thing here is that there is this queen who will support the king. So it's kind of like people are expecting action from the king, but he's not giving it. He's just sitting. Instead, this is kind of like their strategy where she has taken the pentacle and she is the one who is going to put into operations the plan, not him. Okay, so basically that is their strategy.